Welcome to Talking Maine with a Bowtie Boy. I'm Tom Savio, and I'm my special guest, Leo Deon. Leo, welcome back.
Tom, thanks for having me back.
As a radio, you're a repeat offender.
Just don't put my face on the most
Postcards.
wanted. Yeah.
I just want you to know that today, based on my calculations, you represent the 365th show that we have done.
Well, I'm glad to represent.
And so that for those that are watching this, if you really want to and you have nothing else to do, you can start today or tomorrow with this first show that's on the recorded on the website, and you can watch it all year long and come back till today. It's been a long run, but we've had a great time and great guests, and you're one of them. You'll come back. So tell me a little about, let's remind everybody who you are and a little bit about your background.
Okay, well, sure. I'm Leo Deon. I am a Veterans Employment Representative with the Maine Department of Labor. I've been doing this work in the Veteran Services and advocacy for about 5 years. I'm retired Coast Guard, spent 21 years in the service, traveled all over, did all kinds of things. Met my wife, of all places, at Farmington Fair, and when it was time to retire, she said, I want to come to Maine. And I said, let's go.
No kidding.
So we actually live on the same road that she grew up on.
No kidding.
Yep.
So you're going to have to come back, and we're going to have to talk about your Coast Guard career later in another show. I think that would be fascinating to talk about some of the places you were, some of the things you saw, some of the things you did.
Well, get your boots on for some good sea stories.
All right. I wear my raincoat too, so in case you're throwing water at me. So tell us a little bit about the veteran services that you're providing, and we'll talk about those, and then some of the things that changed over COVID and that are come back. So let's do. And so you're with the Maine Department of Labor, correct?
Yes. Maine Department of Labor has a veteran services team comprised of about 10 veterans representatives. Veterans representatives do two functions. One is they work directly with the veterans to get them employment ready, resume building, cover letter creation, interview skills. And then the other veterans representative, which I do as the local veterans employment rep, is I advocate and work with businesses to get veterans hired.
Wow.
So I'm constantly, well, pre-COVID, I was constantly on the road working with employers, touring facilities to get an idea of which veterans we're working with, and would this be a good fit for this veteran, and then make those connections, and then let the hiring practice and hiring process start.
Now, the veterans that you're servicing, are they mostly coming back from Afghanistan and Iraq? Or are you getting some that are done time in their service and have come out and now looking for a job? I mean, what's your array that you're really working with?
Our veteran spectrum is all eras from Vietnam all the way up to post 9/11 veterans. When working with those veterans, there's a certain target population that we're looking for. Those that have been hard to employ, low income, 18 to 24, recently separated, those that have service-connected disabilities. So we're working with a target audience of veterans to help get them employed. Other veterans that come into the Career Center, we can provide services to as well, but the individualized intensive services that we provide are primarily for those veterans that are harder to fill into employment positions.
And by separated, you mean separated from the service. They
Correct.
finished their tour, whether it be 2 years, 4 years, or longer.
Yep. We can work with those that have released, meaning they completed their service, separated for other reasons, and of course those like me who have retired.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Retirement's nice.
Retirement is nice.
So of those that are there, and you're also then, and that's interesting to think that they're talking about those that are harder to employ, because those would be the most difficult, whether they've been disabled in some way or because of their educational background coming out of the service, they're not quite ready to go into the workforce. So how do you work with them to get them prepared?
We work with them in several ways. One is, like I said, is the resume side. It's to ensure that their resume is readable by a civilian hiring manager. Military, as I'm sure you are aware, many acronyms.
Yeah, just
military occupational specialties. And for example, if an Army veteran served 4 years, was in the infantry, and says, well, I was in infantry, I don't have any skills. Well, what pay grade were you? Now there's some leadership skills there. What things did you do? Okay, now there's some supervisory, there's some administrative, there's some management skills there that you can put down on your resume that are enticing to an employer. In addition to those soft skills, communication, integrity, dependability. Those are the skills that an employer can't train. They can train to teach, or to turn a wrench. They can train to do, the mechanics of a job, but what they can't teach are those soft skills, which the veterans bring to the table, and they bring it to the table in full force.
Yeah, and I remember one of the veterans I worked with years ago, who was really just depressed because he said, well, I can't get a job. And he said, because I only know how to take an M1 apart and put it back together again, or M16. And I said, no, that means that you're mechanically capable.
That's correct.
You can take something apart and put it back together. Well, all I learned about is how to march. Well, no, you learned discipline. You learned how to listen to commands and act accordingly. I mean, it's a matter of perception that was there. And by the time that we were finished having this conversation, he accused me of being a politician.
I think you were. But no, you're absolutely right. I mean, the judgment, the decision-making skills that they do, the learning under pressure, the working under pressure, meeting deadlines, all those different skill sets are what our players are looking for right now. And to make a veteran aware of what they bring to the table is important.
Yeah,
and then also to ensure the employers know what they're getting. Some employers are hesitant to hire veterans because they think they bring baggage. Those employers that we place veterans with, we get calls, a week, 2-3 weeks later. 75 more of them. So once they see what a veteran can do in a work environment, they're really interested in hiring more. And we have some programs and some presentations that we can deliver to employers to get them aware of those benefits of hiring those veterans.
So what do some of those programs bring out for them? Similar things that we're talking about?
Very similar things. For when we're talking about employers, we have a veterans hiring for employers basic training presentation that we do, which talks about military culture, talks about the benefits of hiring veterans, talks about if they see a DD-214, what exactly are they looking at? And
DD-214, so we know, since it's an
Acronyms.
acronym, it's a discharge paper that
That's
tells
correct.
you where you served, how long you were in, it tells you what kind of commendations you might have had, and it ultimately tells you that you had an honorable discharge in it. So it's a document, because I used to do a lot with those when I was doing awards for veterans, is to try to get what service area they were in, and then what exactly did they earn, and so forth. So I know, so for the audience, a DD-214, does it stand for, what's a DD? I know it's a discharge paper, but.
discharge document.
There you go, DD.
214.
Remember, the Army's not very original. So
Certificate of release of discharge from military service. And it's the who, what, where, when, why, and how an individual was in the service. And so we use that to educate employers about, what things to look for in that. Like you mentioned, the education. Well, just because they were in the infantry, they may have been an EMT, emergency medical technician. They may have leadership skills or training. So there are other things that they can pick up on that they can see a direct benefit to employing this veteran. In addition to medals and awards, not how they did it, but how well they did it. So that information is important. And then, of course, the honorable discharge is a big piece to that.
And that's kind of like their Army resume.
Correct. It is.
It is their resume. Everything you need, just as you described, is there for an employer to look at, and now they can look at it and say, oh, I understand what this person did.
And with a veteran that doesn't have a lot of civilian work experience, we could take that DD-214 and create a really solid resume that would be attractive to an employer.
And that would be somebody like 18 that came right out of high school, joined the service, did his or her 4 years, and then comes out and says, well, I really don't have anything. Yeah, you do. You have something pretty significant.
Sure.
You have overseas experience, most likely. You have everything that's in there.
When you talk about the overseas experience, especially with a lot of the post-9/11 veterans now, is they have that cultural awareness of being over in an environment. And what that does in a workplace is helps them assimilate really quick into their work environment. They're used to working with in diverse populations, ethnicities, races, what have you, and be able to work effectively.
I never really thought about that, but that's true, because when they get into that country, they have to abide by the rules of that country, and so they're going to learn about what's going on there. So that brings them to the workplace here that may not be Britain or France or something, but it's going to be it's its own country in that workplace.
Right.
I hadn't really thought about that. That's pretty interesting. So some of the things that veterans should be aware of, like how do they get in contact? Well, contact with you. Maybe we got the phone number that we can put up so people can see it. See if JP's got that. But how do they? What number did they call when they want to get in touch with you? How do they make? So let's do it a different way. I want to make an appointment because I'm a veteran and I'm ready to do something different. How do I do that?
Well, you can go to right now, because of COVID, most of the career centers are by appointment only. The best suggestion that I could give to anyone, either whether it's a civilian job seeker or a veteran job seeker, is to go to the maincareercenter.gov website. You can get into veteran services. There's a veteran resources tab. You can find your nearest veterans representative through that and contact them. For our area in the greater Farmington, Franklin County area, it is myself and another gentleman by the name of Val Graffa. We both work out of Lewiston, yet we cover Franklin County as well. I'm at the Wilton Career Center every Tuesday. I work there. So if a veteran needs an appointment, they can contact us and we can make.
Is there a phone number they can call?
They can call me directly at 207
207
753
753
9092.
9092. Here it is, right here. There, it's right
Oh,
there. You see
there it is, yeah, there we
go. 753 9092. Will that go to the Career Center, or does that go directly to you?
That'll go directly to me.
And then they're going to make an appointment to come and see you.
Sure. It's a no wrong door approach. If there's a veteran out there that's maybe watching this show online and is from a different area, they can still contact me and we will get them connected with their nearest veterans representative.
So I've called and I made the appointment. What should I bring with me when I come in to see you?
A good attitude, open mindset.
Lets me out already.
And your discharge document.
DD 214. So come in with a good attitude. Yes, this can be done. And then bring that DD 214.
Correct.
That's the most important thing to work off of.
That is. Yeah.
Wow. And so now when you get sit there, how are you going to counsel me? What's the first thing you're going to talk to me about?
Well, I want to hear about like you asked me, like my military experience. You know, what did I do in the military? And from that conversation, it brings out a lot of thoughts as far as what can this person do? What does this person realize they can do? And then do they want to continue on with the type of work they did in the military? Or do they want to transfer or transition into something else? And then it's to develop goals, smart goals, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely goals for that individual, short-term and long-term. If they need a job to sustain themselves, well, let's get you a job. Let's get you employed so you have money coming in. And now let's look at what those career aspirations are and try and find you that career job that you're looking for. We help individuals get their first-time job out of the service. Veterans that are employed at minimum or slightly over minimum wage that have those skill sets to do better, bigger and better things. Let's get them a career upgrade. Let's find them that job. As we all know, COVID's hit us pretty hard, just as hard in the veteran circles as it has in the civilian community. And there are a lot of jobs out there, a lot of jobs. So now is the time to strike if you're a job seeker.
Yeah. And they wouldn't have to work for minimum wage either,
No.
because they're all paying $13.50
Exactly.
an hour, $15 an hour, and they look at somebody like that coming in with experience. They've got a gold mine. That's why
Exactly.
they're actually going to get their money's worth when they walk in the door. They're not going to be training somebody brand new.
From the first day, they'll reap the benefits of hiring a veteran from the first day of being on the job.
Does the interview, when I say, okay, well, I would like to I want to work now, I have to support a family, but I ultimately want to become a teacher. Are you able then to guide them as to where they go to get that secondary education, or not secondary, but college education for what they need to do? And the same question, this I come out and say, I really liked working on helicopters, but I don't have the certificates that I need.
Right.
Where can I go to get those certificates? Are you able to provide that? Is that a relationship that you have within your group?
It's not anything that we provide directly. That said, we have resources and avenues to do direct handoffs to the Veterans Administration, Vocational Readiness and Employment, where they can actually provide the funding and provide the avenue to get that training for college education or to get certification in being a helicopter mechanic. And there are some other state programs as well that have opportunities for those individuals to get secondary education. Sure.
So tell me, what is Hire a Vet? What's that program? That kind of sounds like a pretty sexy title.
Well, I'll retreat just a little bit on that. When we're talking about hiring veterans and hiring civilian job seekers, we've been doing since COVID virtual hiring events. Started out weekly. They've grown in popularity for both the job seekers and the employers, and it is a weekly industry-specific hiring event that we connect businesses with employers. For example, our last one we did, we had 20 employers. We had almost 200 job seekers.
Really?
And it's all done virtually off the Zoom platform, and it's a way to connect those businesses with those job seekers. And we've been running them every week.
So in that case, the employer comes on, talks about who they are, what their business is about.
Correct.
And then the potential employees ask questions, or how do they
That's
interact?
that's exactly
Okay.
right. We allow each employer, depending upon how many employers are participating in the event, anywhere from 5 to up to maybe 10 minutes to talk about, promote their business, highlight their job opportunities, talk a little bit about pay and benefits and any licensing or training requirements, and then how a job seeker would connect with you. And then once all of the businesses do their presentation, we allow the job seekers to ask questions. And it's a way to get them connected so that after the event, they can take that connection, schedule an interview, hopefully hire and onboard a veteran or a job seeker. So that is one thing. That is a way to get those connections made. The Hire Vet campaign is our annual focused, concentrated effort to get veterans hired. We do it every fall. This is our 7th annual coming up this year. And it is like I said, a focused effort to get 100 veterans hired in 100 days by 100 employers.
Wow.
It's fast paced. It's awesome. It's great. We have accounted for over 1,300 veterans being hired since we started the program.
Wow.
We normally do it at the Augusta Civic Center. It's a opening ceremony. It's a kickoff event with a live in-person hiring event with about 300 employers. We believe it's probably the largest annual hiring event on the East Coast. It's definitely in New England, but probably even on the East Coast. Then COVID hit. We had to shift gears, and last year we did it completely virtual.
Completely virtual. Wow.
Within not even a 2-month span of time, we redesigned the program, delivered it virtually. We still, despite COVID, had 145 veterans hired.
Wow.
So we met our goal.
Yeah.
Not as great as an in-person event, but we did, like I said, we met our goal.
So you still made it during COVID. Got
During COVID,
more than
we
the
got
145
veterans
people.
hired.
Wow.
And then this year, we're looking at the relaxation of restrictions, working with the Civic Center again this year. We're on tap to start on August 26th for our opening ceremony and kickoff event. And that campaign will last, like I said, 100 days. The official start of the campaign is on September 9th, and it will run to December 18th, in which we'll have monthly virtual hiring events during that time frame, weekly training presentations, how to write a resume, how to interview in a virtual interview, resource providers for veterans from the Maine Bureau of Veteran Services, and other organizations that provide services to veterans. So not only is it a way for a veteran to get hired, but it's a way for a veteran to learn about additional resources that may be available to them. And as we're talking about Hire Vet campaign, I wanted to present you the very first one of the season, Hire Vet campaign.
Well, thank you. I'm
lapel
honored.
pin.
I will put it on my hat for tomorrow, for Memorial Day. Thank you. I mean, this is, people need to realize what veterans are. And I often, I've said this before, and I get off my soapbox, but my 2 favorite holidays are Veterans Day and Memorial Day. Because if we didn't have those holidays, you and I wouldn't be here talking right now.
That's correct.
And or we'd be either talking Japanese, German, or Arabic, and not the Pig Latin and English that we do speak.
Right.
So, thank you. That is very special.
Well,
I really
it's
appreciate it.
it's
Very
important
touching.
that you say, on the verge of Memorial Day, because it's the unofficial start of summer. This year, I think it brings special recognition because of the relaxation of some of the COVID restrictions. Families can actually start being together as a family, and that is all great. The barbecues, the family outings are great, but just remember why we're allowed to have those barbecues and those family outings. Because of those that have fallen and gave their life for the country.
No question about it. That's exactly why. And those employers that take the time to hire a veteran becomes even more so, because you not only have honored that veteran, but you've honored what he or she served for. Right. Now, do you have a breakout? So go back to the Zoom meeting. That fascinates me.
Yeah.
So after I've gone through the Zoom meeting and I've listened to, or this actual Hire a Vet event, there'll be an employer up there, say it's Mount Blue TV, and I'm really interested in it. Do you then help them get in touch directly with Mount Blue TV, or are they now in a position where you heard Mount Blue TV, go ahead and give them a call? How does that next step work? Because that would be the one that I'm most scared about if I were listening for the first time.
And that's okay. It's understandable to be apprehensive. When we're doing the event, it takes three people to do these events. One is our Zoom technician, who is bringing up the slides and making sure that everybody's in the right spots at the right time. We have a data individual that we know which employers are going to be at the hiring event. So in advance, they're getting the contact information, the websites, the career websites, and all this gets posted on the chat side so that the employers can see it. Once the event is over with, that chat gets transferred into an email document and sent to the job seekers.
Okay.
But this does a couple things. One is job seekers don't have to be frantic about writing down or missing information.
Yeah. They can listen.
They can listen intently so that they can formulate good questions. They'll get the notes, they know that, so they can follow up later. The second thing it does is that the email provides them with proof of a work search requirement. Because they do need it for unemployment. Which on the unemployment side, I'm going to stop there.
That's okay. We don't want to talk about that.
Then it's moderated. Just like we're having a conversation here. I actually am the Tom Saviello of the virtual hiring events. I moderate all the virtual hiring events. So I introduce the employers. I engage the employers. We try to engage the job seekers. And we also provide relevant information about what's going on in hiring, so that they're aware of it. Like I said, it's grown exponentially. We started out last October, a year ago October, with 5 employers and about 20 job seekers. And it's caught on to, like I said, we have to turn some businesses away. Really? Because we're capped at 2 hours, so there's only so many businesses that you can allow present in a 2-hour period. And we typically, are at that limit. And then depending upon the popularity of the industry sector, for example, part-time jobs, remote jobs, work-from-home jobs, we had 300 job seekers. Wow. At that event, looking for that type of work, because
we were all stuck at home.
Everybody's stuck. They want to be able to work. Other jobs that are very popular, obviously, are the medical staffing jobs, manufacturing, production, fabrication jobs. And we try to time out when we deliver these. For example, we recently did a construction trades. Construction's coming up. Hospitality, food service is another big one. We recently did one of those because tourism season is right around the corner. Right. So we try to be timely with the industries that we feature in the time frame that we feature them in. Wow. Yeah, it's been amazing.
Have you seen the young women moving into this realm now that the more women are serving today than ever before? Yes. Do you find a breakout like that? Are they taking advantage of this opportunity as much as the young people? I call them young because they're all younger than me. Men that might be tuning in.
I think that it's universal across the board. The military does not differentiate. A soldier was a soldier. Yeah. A coastie was a coastie. An airman was always an airman. A Navy personnel was always a sailor. But a Marine is always a Marine. Yeah. So we don't look at it as female versus male. We look at it more as the demographics of how old are they, when did they serve, where did they serve, and let's find that. But there's been a lot of interest in getting the word out there that we have these services, not only for male veterans, but also obviously for female veterans as well. So we look at it that way. We don't look at it as 10 male veterans got hired this past month, but only 2 female. Why was that? We look at it as best qualified.
10 soldiers got hired, 10 Marines got hired, correct. 5 Navy guys, and 5 of those coastie kind of guys got right around on boats and saved lives. So that's really interesting. And again, let's just walk through this again. I'm a veteran. I've just come out, and I'm looking for a job, or I'm looking for my next opportunity. So the first thing they might do is call a number again. Let's put that up again so that people can see that, so that we've got it. And it'll eventually show up right there of some time. Well, it's getting there.
Is it getting there?
And not yet, but it'll get there. So they call that number. Here it is, 753-9092. Right. That'll get you.
That'll get me.
And I only pick on you because if I'm the veteran from Oxford County, you might send me to someplace else that be watching this, but at least I've made a contact with the person that knows where they're going to route me.
If they're calling from Oxford County, they're going to get me. My area of responsibility is Androscoggin, Franklin, Oxford counties. And just like every other business that's experiencing work shortages, we're experiencing a work shortage with our veterans representatives. as you can imagine, we deal with employment all day long, so we see great jobs come through.
Oh,
go
yeah.
through. Oh, this one might be interesting. You know, we lose a couple of veterans
Yeah.
representatives to that. We recently had 2 that have left, and then 1 that's retired. So we're short 3 veterans representatives.
Wow.
So if there's anyone out there that's interested in a job in Augusta, Bangor, or up in Presque Isle, we have a job for you if you're a veteran.
Wow.
Those are the 3 locations. So yeah, get a hold of me. I'm also covering now Kennebec and Somerset counties because of the loss of a couple of veterans representatives, and we'll work on it. No wrong door. We'll make sure that we get you pointed in the right direction for the right services.
Yeah, like those words. No wrong door. There's no wrong door to open in this case.
We're not gonna hold your hand because as our experience has been, some veterans just need that little bit of encouragement and just a couple small successes to become infectious and to do well. And there are others that need a swift kick of reality. And as a veteran, we're able to do that with a veteran. We can assess what they need and talk with them. Very upfront and professional. Of what they're looking to do and how we can help with that. And if we can't do it, we have the spokes on the wheel that we can send them to get those things done. There are a lot of programs out there for veterans, 10 times more than when I retired.
Yeah, for sure. I just got to ask, with having all those extra counties, they are paying you more, right?
No.
No. Oh, well, there's always that, you're salaried. Thank you very much. We love you, Leo. And we got a lot of places for you to go.
They say that, veterans, as a veteran, you're used to doing more with less. So you're going to be doing more with less.
But you are up in the Wilton area every Tuesday?
Every Tuesday.
Every
yeah.
Tuesday.
We are by appointment only, so the best thing that they can do is they can go onto the maincareercenter.gov website. One of the first things that come up will be a floating window that says need help, live chat. They can press that and they can schedule an appointment.
Oh, wow.
And like I said, if I'm not the one that can provide that service, we can definitely direct them and get them in the right.
And then if I'm getting ready to come and spend time with you, I want to bring my DD214 in and my energy and my enthusiasm that I want to get into the workforce, and you'll help me go from there. Write my resume, make me realize that I really do have skills that I didn't think I had.
There are a lot of skills that veterans have that they don't realize that they have. And then there are a lot of skills that veterans have that even employers don't realize are out there, which is why we do the Veteran Hiring for Employers presentation.
That's got to be pretty neat to do.
Yeah, it is.
And I bet you it opens a lot of employers' eyes that, I hadn't really thought about it that way.
It has. We've done it. We created it. The veterans team created it about 3 years ago, and it's been a work in progress. I'm actually going to be delivering it to Central Maine Healthcare System on June 9th. They're very interested in hiring more veterans, but they want to know what they're getting into before they launch a full-fledged program on veteran recruitment and veteran hiring. So we're going to provide that presentation to Central Maine Healthcare.
And I think they'd be surprised at how many of these veterans that are coming out do have this military medical background in them, just
That's right.
because of the jobs that we're in. May not be their primary MOS or what does it stand for?
Military Occupational
Specialty may not be their specific one, but it'll be such that they may find, I didn't know that. He might be a person I could bring on that I can get their first certifications that I could put onto an ambulance someplace. And then, or I could get him so he goes to the next step to be a PA that I could actually put him in the emergency room because he obviously has dealt with emergencies before.
Right. There is definitely promotion potential in almost every veteran. There are a few bad veterans out there, just like there are a few bad civilian job seekers as well. But for the most part, veterans come with awesome decision-making skills, judgment, dependability. We're hearing from employers now that I offered an interview, but they never showed, or they went through the interview, we offered the job, and they never showed. Veterans aren't like that.
Yeah.
I was here at 8:30 this morning, ready to go.
I understand.
If we're 10 minutes early, we're 10 minutes late, kind of mentality. But we're dependable, we're reliable, we have integrity. Which are the things that the employers are really looking to
particularly in today's day. When I offer you the job, I want you to come to work for me.
That's correct.
And I don't want you to come one day and be gone the next, because that's actually one of the complaints I hear from a lot of people is I've hired this person and they come in, and I've always been very, very careful about who I give a recommendation for, because if they get hired, I want that employer to think, well, I can call Saviello again. Does he have somebody like Leon or Joe or Fred that will come in here, or Mary that will come in here and do the same kind of quality of work? I want to thank you. This is phenomenal. Let's put the number up one more time. Tommy's doing it. He's doing great.
753-9092.
There you go. We got it anyway. Leon, thank you for your service to this country. And we're here today because it's people like you, and it's much appreciated. And we are going to do the story on your Coast Guard experience.
Well, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me again.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Be sure to give these guys a call if you're a veteran out there. They really can help you get employed. They're really good people, and they're just like you. We'll see you next time on Talking Maine.